Adi Korson already talked about Father Joseph Palekal. We know that he is an expert in music. Father Joseph Palekal, a CMI priest who born at Alapura, is an Indic missiologist, singer and composer with special interest in the musical traditions of the Indian Christians and Syro-Malabar. He is also the founder, president of the Christian Missiological Society of India. We are lucky to have him here today as our guest of honor. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and honor to invite Reverend Father Joseph Palekal for the Christmas message.
Respected office bearers of Wise Men's International and my dear friends, it's a great honor to be with you this evening here to continue to celebrate the birth of Christ. From Corison's introductory speech, I realize the main goal of Wise Men's International is to answer an unanswered question that comes all the way from the book of Genesis. After killing Abel, God encountered Cain and asked him, "Where is your brother?" And Cain answered God with another question, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And God did not answer him back. But Wise Men's International is in fact answering that question. Yes, I am my brother's keeper. Your goal is to help those who are in need. Your brother is one who is in need. So I truly am honored to be in the satsangam of people like you, because you are really taking a step forward in your life and your mission to help other people. My first experience of Christmas was when I was about 4 years old. There was midnight mass. I come from Pallipuram in Alapura district near Cherpura. So I was the firstborn, so my parents took me to mass, midnight mass. And at that time, men stood in the first half of the church and women stood in the second half of the church. So after the mass, everybody went to the pulkud to put nercha. And I was with mother in the mother's section. So all the men were left and mother took me to the pulkud. And she put the nercha and she asked me to fold my hands like this. I still remember it, this was yesterday. And then she said, "This is Isho. This is Ishoya." So a cute little statue of a Caucasian small boy. So I thought it is Jesus, okay. And mom is asking me to fold my hands and pray. And I stood there, she wanted to leave, I stood there, I wanted to see if he will get up and play with me. Nothing happened, but in retrospect, I never knew that that boy, that statue which represents the boy, he will determine my life story. And today, I am here as a priest. 23 years later, I was at Christ College in Bangalore studying, one of the topics was English literature, and we got acquainted with the poems of William Wordsworth. One verse that was struck at that time was, "Child is the father of man." Child is the father of man. Very controversial, very intriguing statement. The explanations that the professors gave, the 23-year-old brain did not appreciate. But then, that summer, this was in Bangalore, that summer I came back to Ernakulam, and there was a reason for me to go from Ernakulam to Kottayam. So I was in the train, in the southern direction, Kottayam direction, I was on the left side of the train. And as the train moved out of Ernakulam junction to the interior, there were small huts on the railway, near the railway track, and children, half-clad, dirty children, sitting in front of their houses. And when the train passed, when our compartment passed, all these children with great laughter said, "Tata, tata, tata." And I thought, Do they know me? I thought it was a little weird that these children are greeting me and they were so happy that they saw me for a fleeting second. It took many years for me to understand where they came from. Children have the vision to see that you and I have lost in the process of growing. It was because we said every child is an artist. The problem is to stay as an artist as you grow up. When you have children, their perspective is different. They see through you. They see the humanity in you. They see that you and I are relative. We are relatives. Look at, I don't know how many of you travel by subway. I don't have a car. I travel always by subway. And sometimes a mother comes with a stroller, a little baby in the stroller. He looks at you and he smiles. Now I know why that baby smiles at me. Because this baby sees something in everybody in that compartment. The baby can see the universality, the humanity that he and we share. That is the message of Christmas, the humanity. Christmas is a celebration of the humanity. God became a human being. This form, he took the form of you and me. That's what we celebrate. Humanity. That we are all one. The question, who is my brother? The answer is the one who is in need. It doesn't mean of a color, of a status, of a language. It is humanity that we share. This I learned a few years ago. I had a revelation about Jesus Christ. Kavitha was talking about my acquaintance with Aramaic language. My doctoral dissertation was on music in the chant in the Aramaic language. In fact, I studied, Thomas will be happy to know, the versions of Abel Lichen's Malayalam versions of the Suryani melodies. That was I transcribed and studied and analyzed that. So there's a connection. I haven't lost the connection with that great man. So, in order to do the dissertation, I had to learn Syriac. So I tried to learn Syriac. And then sometimes when you go somewhere, they would want me to sing in Syriac. So I learned some chants in Syriac. But the most important thing I learned was the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer. So, in Aramaic, in meaning, the Lord's Prayer that we recite, we used to recite before 1962, and I think Orthodox churches still recite in Aramaic. Malaga Church still recite in Aramaic. It's very interesting. The English translation is very faulty. It is very bad. We say Our Father. The original word, the Lord's Prayer begins the word Abun, Awun. Slight pronunciation between East Syriac and West Syriac. Abun, Awun, Dubasmaya. We translate it as our Father, but that's not Father. Abba is Appa. We Malayalis adopted it into Appa. Tamilians too. Do Tamilians use that word? I think Tamilians also use the word Appa. That is Aramaic. Abba. We made it into Appa. Appa is the word that we use for male parent. Now, Jesus was very smart. What a statement. He asked his disciples to begin the prayer, Abun Dubasmaya. Abun Dubasmaya. The first person plural, genitive, is inflected into the word Abba. Abun is our Abba. The real word Abba is a word that children use at home in the Middle East, in the Semitic world, to address their male parent. So father is a wrong translation. The right translation would be daddy. Papa. Appacha. Appa. Because that has emotional content. Nobody calls their male parent Pidave unless we're very angry or we're fighting with him or something. It doesn't have emotional content. Abba is a very emotional laden word. daddy. And that's what Jesus said, call Yahweh my daddy. We cannot imagine the revolution implied in that statement. Because Yahweh, they were afraid to call. Yahweh was so big, they were afraid to say the name. So what did they do? They went around and made another word, Adonai, in Hebrew and Syriac in Mar. So they were, in order to avoid saying Yahweh, they created another word. So whenever Yahweh appears in the text, they would substitute it with Adonai and they would bend down. So now when you see prayers, Jews praying at the Western Wall, they will keep on doing this because they see there is a word Yahweh there. And they wouldn't say it, they would make it Adonai. But look at Jesus. Jesus said to his disciples, call him Daddy. Huh. Yahweh, Daddy? That was something very new. That comprised Jesus' mission. He made God intimate. He came to humanity. He assumed humanity and made humanity a sacred event. So this our daddy, and then comes our daddy. That's first person plural genitive suffix is equally important. Our daddy. Now who is included in that our? That is a question. And in Jesus' vision, everybody is included. Not my disciples, not the Jewish people, not the people in Palestine. Everybody, the whole humanity is included in that hour. So that makes a lot of sense. And this was his mission. And this is what we celebrate today, that you and I, all of us share the same humanity. To be human is a divine glory that is given to us. We carry the flame of God within us. And the person who translated the Lord's Prayer most beautifully in Kerala, in Malayalam, is someone whom I respect so much. By the way, when I sang the prayer song, does anybody know where that song came from? Devame Katugolgan Kaividadenu Nyangale. Do you know who wrote that song? Narayana Deva Dashaka. I was surprised Corazon mentioned Khalil Gibran. In fact, he especially mentioned about the story of the river meeting. So let me conclude with the 10th stanza of Deva Dashakam by this great saint, great Khalil Gibran from our land. Aramerum Nitmahasa Aril Nyangalagave Aramerum Nitmahasa Aril Nyangalagave Aranam Varanam Nityam Varanam Sukham. You and I finally will flow into that river, that sea, and become engulfed in it. And we will lose our identity, but we will get a larger identity and become part of that great identity. Aramerum nin mahasam aril nyangal